could check
Yes.
after.
No,
I don't off the top of my head.
She
A lot of
does,
people
you know, for
watch
the
it
board
after the
meetings
fact.
and
That's
stuff.
great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Check after. No, I don't off the top of my head. You know.
Thank you.
All right. Don't have this on there.
Okay.
I just found out about that one.
Yeah.
Are we good? Okay. Morning, everybody out there in Zoom land. How are you? There's a couple more that are supposed to join, but we'll get going. And as you can see, Jack is not here. He's in Albany. I forget what conference that was, but he left yesterday. So Susie and I are holding down the fort today. So anyway, let's see, who wants to start? Are you good to start? Okay,
I'll
great.
start. So the partnership is busy, but I think as a recap, we had the Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition had a take back day, medication take back day. We do one in the spring, one in the fall. The fall one we generally have right here across the way in Mead Square Pharmacy.
Right.
Host it. We did this one at Wegmans in Canandaigua, and we collected 900 pounds of medication, had about 320 cards. So really great to see people still using those opportunities and people still using the drop boxes in the community, which is great.
What do you do with all that?
So we collaborate with the sheriff's office, and then the sheriff's office, they have to be on site actually to collect just for liability reasons. And so they take it to a location / business in Buffalo where it's incinerated. So also the coalition is working on a Cannabis 101 just for either businesses or anyone who might be interested. We've just gotten a lot of calls for folks just wanting to know the lay of the land. What does the law say? Obviously it's still illegal for folks 20 and younger. And so working on the prevention focus for youth, but then also for 21 and over, what that feels like, looks like, how to feel good about what's they're putting in their body if they choose to do so. So we're creating a curriculum for something like that, which is great. And then the Suicide Prevention Coalition is also gearing up. In July, 988 will be released, which is nationwide suicide crisis mental health hotline. There's the suicide hotline, but it's going right to 988, which is great. 911 for physical challenges, 988 for any mental health challenges. So we want to be able to help people know about that, what it means, when to use it, things like that. So there'll be more information coming on that. And then, as I said, last time I was here, we have a new, one of our programs, the Youth Clubhouse. We have a clubhouse in Geneva, and probably within a week, we'll be opening one in Bloomfield. So it's a safe space, after school space for youth between the ages of 12 and 17. And it's just a relationship building opportunities, just a place for youth to be. We haven't determined dates because we're not sure how it's going to be received, but I will say the team has been in the school, collaborating with the school, so open and welcoming, and the kids are super excited. So we're so thrilled just to try it in a rural setting since we have one in Geneva already. So we'll have an open house of which we'll let you all know, and you're welcome to come see as well. So
there are plans for Victor in the future?
We are hoping. It's all funding and then interest in the community. And then, and making it happen.
I was going to ask you, a business owner has approached me about doing something similar. And I'll connect you. Please. Because his mindset is more like he was going to have some arcade games and things like that. Yeah. Because he has kids of that age that have nothing to do in Victor. Mm-hmm. And so we were talking about it, and when you just were saying that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put you two together.
Please do. Please do.
We are talk about funding
the whole thing. We have a we have game plan. We know the model. that
Right,
works,
right.
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 And so and open to and every community is going to look and feel different.
Right.
Right. And so, we're communicating with the Marcus Whitman district, what does that feel like for them? They're so kind of spread out. So what does that feel like? So, but to your point, Kathy, there's a lot of youth that do sports or involved in band and involved in a lot of different things, but some youth that just they want to be somewhere,
Right,
particularly
exactly.
2 years after COVID and
Right.
not having that interaction.
Right.
Being
Great.
able to provide that space. is really
Okay, I'll
important.
make sure and connect you
Thank
to.
you. Yeah. So that's what's going on in our world.
Great.
Yeah.
I did see Mary Dupre pop on here, and Bob, I'm not trying to push you out of the mix, but Mary's on a tight deadline here. So if Mary wanted to go.
Well, good morning, everyone. Nice
Good
to see you guys. Good morning. Mary Dupre, Victor Garden Club. I just have a few things to share with everyone. First of all, I've been talking about the flower pot fundraiser that our club holds every year, and it ended last month, and we're proud to say that the pickup will be here in about the next week and a half. So people will be picking up all their pots and making their homes and everything else just beautiful, matching the colors of Victor. And then the money that we raise from this flower pot, as you guys know, we use some of this money that goes towards civic beautification that we partner with the town and village. And we're proud this year to announce the next project that we have with the Village of Victor. And there'll be a new gateway sign at County Road 9. So for those of you that are wondering exactly where on County Road 9 that will be, it's where if you come up the hill by Pontillo's and Church Street turns into County Road 9, that's where it will be. So it's at the village line there. And as you know, County Road 9 then eventually down further turns into Victor Egypt Road. So it has 3 names, but that's where the sign will be at that location sometime in the summer that John Turner will get that up. And then the last thing I just want to say is, May time is also flower time and springtime and all the things. So as we are a garden club, that every year we collaborate and partner with the town and village, and we plant flowers. So look for us at Four Corners over by Chili's and Denny's, as we'll be working with our crew, Chili's and Denny's, and also Town Hall, Village Hall, the Recycle Center, the library, the post office, Serenity House, IRA. So, we'll be around the village and the town doing our thing. So look for us, and that's it. We're about flowers, and flowers make everyone happy. It brings happiness and peace in our life. So we look forward to that beauty. Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Mary. Have a good rest of the day and weekend.
Thank you so much. Same to you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, Bob, now you have the floor.
We are reapplying for the village, downtown revitalization grant. And as I was thinking about that, I started to appreciate how much we depend upon and appreciate all the people that are at this table and the groups that you represent, because without your support and without your involvement, we wouldn't really have any chance for revitalizing our downtown. And Kathy, just to start out with, just your leadership and all that you've done for development and with the LDC and the town helping us out. We really appreciate it. I went to the Arbor Day opening, great day. And I was telling people, some of the village workers were there. I said, it's like watching an iceberg. Sort of, you see this 10% that everyone's involved in, and we plant all these trees. The 90% that nobody sees is the village workers who water them, dig the holes, do all the work, and keep it going.
True.
But the Veterans Parade is coming together. Kathy, thank you for your involvement in that, and just having the veterans there and organizing the parade and going back to normal is a great thing for us. The garden club, closed the Victor hiking trails. There's just so much going on. And then, the schools, the library. We're really, we're keeping our fingers crossed on the library vote, that goes well for the library and that they're able to put up a new library. So for all of you, I mean, that's sort of keeping the village vitalized, even if we don't get a grant. It's having everybody involved in making it work. So that's from the village. A reminder: we have the tour tomorrow of the Old Village Cemetery, 3:00 tomorrow afternoon. The library is handling our sign up for us. And they said they've got about 20, 25 people signed up, which for our events is a great thing. We've got people we've got some actors portraying notable people that are buried there. It should be a good day. And the historic advisory lecture series was last night. We had about 20 people.
Nice.
They were talking. We had a speaker from the Geneva Historical Society talking about the Phelps and Gorham Purchase. And we have just one more coming up in that series. So we've had a busy week. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Let's hear from Victor Hiking Trails.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm subbing in for Chauncey. I do have things written down because we have a lot going on.
Yeah.
So really maintenance is starting. And tomorrow we're joining New York. I love my Parks Day with New York State Parks and Rec, who has an event going on at Ganondagan. And we're going to be planting Jerusalem artichokes, which Chauncey generously donated.
I was going to say out of his garden, right?
Yeah, it's out of his garden.
Jerusalem's got a lot.
There's actually a sign up there towards 444 where he donated them before and they kind of disappeared, I guess is the word. So we're going to be replanting those. We have permission, even though their event is full, that anyone that wants to plant Jerusalem artichokes, come find VHT at 9:30 in the morning and you can plant Jerusalem artichokes. Then Monday morning, there's a project going on the Seneca Trail. You know, I know this stuff like the back of my hand, so let me know if I lose you. 251 and 96 come together where there's a street light. And if you go just north of there, the Seneca Trail goes all the way up to where the Bass Pro Shop was supposed to be. So it winds through the woods, goes all the way up there by the thruway. And there's a section that's really steep and it crosses a little stream. So they're rerouting that to make it a little more accessible because I also bicycle on all these trails and it's really difficult to bicycle on that trail. So we're making it a little more friendly for walkers and bikers. And every Wednesday, we do a Wednesday walk at the library, 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a leisurely walk. Next Wednesday, Bluebells at Mertensia Park. So
nice.
if you can't make it on Wednesday, go out there. But if you want to join some very friendly folks who have gotten to know each other and become quite good friends, Wednesday, 10 o'clock at the library. We always stop at Busy Beans afterwards for camaraderie, socializing, running into friends. Then the 14th is the monthly hike, is always the second Saturday. May 14th is a monthly hike at Letchworth. So they're going to go one way. There's details on the meetup page. So they're going to start at one location, take their cars to the other, walk back to the start. We have a monthly meeting on the 18th. We have updated our quote strategic plan. So our biggest goal is to get more volunteers. If you know anyone that wants to do anything to do with hiking trails, they can just email us on the website. You can come to a 2-hour-long meeting, but if you don't want to, there's lots of other things you can do besides the meeting. And every month we have an educational hike. And on the 22nd, these are always Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. On the 22nd, we're going out to Mary Frances Bluebird Haven. And there's a woman, her name is Liz Magnotti. She owns the birdhouse on Monroe Ave in Pittsburgh. She's going to give a talk and there's always bluebirds out there at this time of year. We'll see them. And I wanted to talk about one thing. It's very special that will happen before the next round, right after the next roundtable. If you haven't heard about the 30th anniversary party for Victor Hiking Trails, it's a day-long event, physical activities starting at 11, 1 o'clock, and afterwards, there's going to be, what's it say? Live music, food, beer, and wine in front of the library. It's going to be very similar to Hang Around Day, where there is a beer garden. If you are a nonprofit and want to be there, you can contact Victor Hiking Trails and get a free table. We're also having some vendors. So I have two of these left. There's more downstairs in the lobby, I'm sure.
There's some on the reception.
June 4th, Saturday. Tabling starts at 1. Music starts at 4:30. 2 live bands, one with Joel Richter. The other one, everyone's favorite, Mr. Mustard.
I didn't know Joel played.
Yes.
What's his instrument? I had no idea.
Geez, I can't remember what he plays,
okay.
but he'll be there for Friends of the Railroad too. And what else is going to happen there? Thanks to Scott Reinhardt, there's going to be a Hall of Fame induction. So the group has been around for 30 years, and we asked the people that are still active, been involved the most, to nominate people. We have 15 people that were instrumental to the start of Victor Hiking Trails. Everyone that's physically capable is going to be there in person. So that's, I think,
Nice.
14 of the 15 people. So it's going to be a really nice thing to be able to thank them. Plus, I think it's going to be a really nice day for the village,
Right.
for Victor Hiking Trails, to have everybody there. And I have one other thing. This is non-Victor Hiking Trails related. It's Parks and Rec, and I don't see Brian here, so I'm going to talk about this. He's got a full calendar of things that he announced, and I guess signups were really great the first day. I also want to say we're partnering with the PTSA, so thank the school very much. We're having a free family bike fest, and this is also May 14th. And we're getting kids, their families, and their bikes out to Parks and Rec to give bikes a check over. The kids can participate in a bike rodeo, which is skills. Can I safely steer my bike around cones? And kids that need bike helmets can get free bike helmets, thanks to the New York State PTA and the Ontario County Department of Health. We are asking people to register that need helmets by Friday of next week, so we have a week lead time. But after we do the bike check and the bike rodeo, we're riding out to Mendon, and there's ice cream in Mendon. So
Nice.
it's like a bike ride and ice cream, right?
With a carrot at the end.
Yes. So I think that's everything on my agenda.
Thanks, Lisa.
Great, thank you.
What's going on?
How about Karen Hansen?
Well, Karen wants to say thanks to Lisa because she came by the clothes closet and told me about the bike helmets and the bike rodeo, and that's popular with the patrons coming, I've noticed. Also, Lisa, you introduced me to Rob Potter, right? So I have a sign up at my clothes closet to call Rob if you need a good refurbished bicycle. And this is for
I saw that.
kids. Yeah.
Okay.
Kids, or I hope I put it in the email I sent Susie, but it's for kids, adults who need a bike, and they use it for enjoyment, and they also use it for getting to class, to
Yeah.
school, to jobs, especially people that have gone through things like Family Promise, and they're getting jobs locally by their apartments, and they're using these bikes for that. So Rob has been a godsend. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I had tried that on my own. I'd asked for bikes. People were bringing them in. I was trying to manage, and she stopped.
He's
by.
wonderful. He's taking
She took it off my hands, and I
That's
worked with
great.
him for a bit, and I slowly just handed it over. And then speaking of Family Promise, I just met Jessica, can't think of her last name.
Richard.
Colin.
No, okay, but thank you for that. So there is a new veteran shelter open right up the road here, up 96 to the left on 332, used to be an urgent care. There is a 20-bed veteran shelter, 4 women, 16 men, and they are doing what Family Promise does. These are for homeless veterans. They take them in and they get them what they need: education, training, where they can open checkbooks. They get them into a house. And so we have discovered them. I accidentally did through working with area agency on nominating the elder seniors for, you guys talked about it last month, for volunteer,
Oh.
So I had nominated some. I ended up working with the sergeant who said, what do you do? I told him, and he told me about the shelter. So now they have just come and taken like 20 sets of sheets and towels and
Nice.
stuff. And they're going to start bringing them who want to come to our Bible studies and our church. So kind of get them back incorporated into our community. We owe them a lot. So let's see what else. I have about 10 prom dresses. I'm trying to get to the school. They are amazing. I'm just trying to get them to talk back to me.
To the school?
Yes.
Wow.
I talked to Alicia and then your assistant principal, Lagonda. Oh, that's not right. Gondola. Who's your assistant principal?
Well, there's Jennifer Grimes,
Say another one.
there's Carrie Goodell,
That might be it.
and then there's Jim Morrow.
So we're
I kind of like that Lagonda. I was like, I don't recognize that
I
one.
did.
It's a town, isn't it?
Probably, but I went several.
Just
Right,
picking on you.
So you have 10
I have
dresses.
gorgeous new and they're for free for you needy kids. And Victor and I want to take them up with a little rack and set them on, in the hall or something that says free.
So.
So I'll just tell them you said that's okay and I'll show up there.
You're gonna go there and give them out?
Yeah, I have a real small rack. So it would take up, like putting a little table against the wall and hang them. And then it's quit laughing at me as they come in more, put them out there because your prom is next week.
It is.
And you do have a lot of,
So, yeah, I love this. You want to just email me?
All I'm wondering
Actually,
is these
let's
kids
just
might feel funny,
Yes.
like
that's what I
grabbing
thought.
them in the hall. Maybe
And
could
taking
we
them to
direct
class?
them?
Yes.
how do we
I
let
don't
them know?
How's this?
That's-
How's
that
this?
would
We'll
be
work it out
yeah.
with him.
How's this?
Right.
I'm gonna email Carrie right now.
They might be
Who's
embarrassed.
Carrie?
Right.
Carrie's good.
Yeah.
Carrie's Lagonda, your lady.
Please don't tell her.
Hi, Carrie.
I do that all the
Another
time.
question. I always
We
talk
are
about
live on
what I said.
YouTube, so
I'll
she
be
could watch
quiet.
it at any point.
I'm emailing her right now. I'm on the phone and I'll
Do you
see
want
what,
me to give you my email
yeah.
to have her
Yeah,
talk
what
to
is
me?
it? What is it?
I'm Karen Hansen, Hansen.
Is it Karen?
It is.
Hansen, one word? Is the email?
Mhm. Karen Hansen, and then followed by number 7. That's any kids I have.
Is it Ian or Owen?
E
Karen Hansen,
7.
7. That's my favorite number, by the way.
Thank you. At hotmail.com.
Sorry, dude.
Just
Little business.
So,
Everybody's
yeah,
like
I do.
that.
Well, I
This is what
just
this
have,
is for.
it is. And then it's no
Hotmail.com.
good after it's well.
Karen Hansen with an E7 at hotmail.com.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
I should be calling you sir.
Because I have.
All right, I got it. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm finishing my email.
Okay. So, here we go. Okay, I am collaborating with the Presbyterian Church on doing a Ukraine style dinner fundraiser where 100% of proceeds will go to Ukraine. Our pastor is Ukrainian. His family is over there, and this has been really hard
Mhm.
on him. And so we are going to do the whatever Ukraine meal is, like sausage, sauerkraut, taters.
Pierogies.
No, I'm not doing those. But he wants borscht, which is a beet soup or something.
Right.
So we're going to do that and then let people come in and pay what they want. I also
Nice.
have an artist that donated huge pictures and stuff. He's won several awards, and he just gave me large to little to note cards that people just pay what they want and take them, and all the money will go.
Nice.
Have no more info. We had it set up. One of them backed out today on the date, so I got to reset it. Let's see. We said bye. Okay, and then here is. Okay, just briefly, we had about we served over a 2-month course. 693 people Okay, that's the front door, and that's not the missions we deliver to, like Open Door Mission, the shelter, Bethany House. Child and Family Services is just here in Victor Farmington area. I've given away about 422 bags of clothes to just this area. And I think that's all that would interest you. I did give a wedding dress away. I mean, things are good. She didn't have money. I mean, they're getting married and fell apart. And so she took an amazing wedding dress. Lots of oh, this is what I wanted to tell you. Here it is. Like 34 coats, 52 blankets, 59 sheets, 120 towels, washcloths. So that's kind of where, did I say sheets? Yeah. So that's where, besides clothes, that's the other things we give out. And because when people don't have money or low on money, they do not buy washcloths, towels,
Right.
linen sheets, socks, underwear. They just have buy outer things.
Right.
So we give away. And I thank you.
Thanks for your efforts. Sounds great. Mr. Terranova. How are
Please call
you?
me Tim.
Okay.
Thanks, Karen. Now, Karen, you're can I just say, you're obviously in charge of distribution of clothing and other items.
The community clothes
Yeah,
closet. Mhm.
Have you heard about the spot?
Yes, I met with her when I found out she was coming. I
Yeah.
met with her. She was gonna come down and go through the closet so we could collaborate. And I haven't
That's awesome.
heard from
She's
her
great.
yet, but
But so the spot is, it started in Canandaigua, great
Mhm.
thing, and it's in all the schools in Canandaigua for the staff to, if they notice kids who need something, whether it's clothing or backpacks or school supplies, it ends up being basically a great source of just very, what's the word I'm looking for? Discreetly being able to get kids what they need, whether it's a winter coat, whether it's shoes, socks, undergarments, all the way to, like I said, amazing stuff. And so thankfully, our new principal at the primary building in Victor, Heidi Robb, came from Canandaigua. So she helped with, and I forgot her name, great person.
I have.
It's
to
just
look
helpful.
at her.
Richard.
Oh, thank you.
no.
I knew I knew that name.
No,
Okay,
it's just
thank you.
Sarah Shilson.
Sarah,
Is that- yeah.
Sarah Schultz.
She was,
Oh, yeah.
gonna be here today, but.
Sarah and Heidi and another staff member brought it into us. So now we're at the EC, we have it at our early childhood
Oh,
school.
okay.
And I think now we have it at the early childhood and maybe the primary. We're going to try to get it in all 5 buildings, including the high school.
Okay.
And so see, this would be a great relationship because then stuff like the 10 prom dresses,
Right.
if we have, once we have it in all the buildings, that becomes another thing that counselors keep an eye on, and then they know who might need
Okay.
stuff, and then they can do it discreetly and things like that. But the partner, and you could potentially take some of all your great work and funnel some of the supplies, even if you needed to, if you thought this was more for kids. You could funnel it into the school spot supply because that's where they could get even more access to it. I
Well,
think
you
it'd be
get all
a
the
great relationship.
backpacks and stuff up there,
Yes.
things like. So I did talk to her and she knows that if they ever need something, they notice if they don't have it, they would call me and I'd run it up
Yeah.
or they, whatever, come pick it up. So I
Well,
do want to work with.
Thank you for everything you do, and I always thank Karen up there. Is Karen over there?
She's
Yeah.
in the room.
Hi, Karen.
Yes.
For everything,
Yeah.
the combined, not just the two of you, but certainly the combined of what you two do for our community is amazing. I'll be really brief.
Okay.
So you've already heard, you've heard a little bit about the vote. So May 17th is Tuesday. We're having our school budget vote, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the early childhood. It's a different place this year. Last year it was at the primary building. This year it's at the early childhood school, the boardroom, where we have all our board meetings. A little bit more secure, less, we're trying to find places that disturb the classrooms as little as possible. Because, there's a lot going on, but it's a great spot to do it. The budget philosophy right now for Victor is we're actually in a great situation. We're able to add over 30 positions for next year. We've been understaffed, as you probably know, and we've talked a lot about for many, many years due to the significant increase in student enrollment way back, and then the state freezing our aid for probably 15 years, close to 15 years. So out of all the districts in the state that took a hit from the New York State state aid numbers, we probably were in the top 0.1% because we had increased enrollment and they froze the state aid. And so all the kids that we got after that, we really didn't have the money for. And so the community was in a tough spot. And now, because of the exceeding the tax cap 2 years ago, which was a huge community it was a huge community effort and showed the support of Victor, which was amazing. And then now they've unfrozen the state aid formula. So we're actually getting the state aid we're supposed to get pretty much, which is huge. So because of those things, here's our budget. We're adding over 30 positions. Our tax rate increase for next year is at the highest going to be 1.83%, which is less than 2%, which is huge. You know, because normally if you think, oh my gosh, you're adding 30 positions,
Right.
how much is this going to cost?
Right.
Well, if because of the state aid piece, it's going to cost less than a 2% increase. We expect it to be less than 1.83% when the rolls get finalized in August. So you're getting a huge bang for your buck where we're becoming more fully staffed in areas like counseling, social work, psychologists, special education, safety and security. For the first time, we're going to have a security director on that campus, because right now we have one police officer for a campus that has over 5,000 people on it every day. And you know, in society today, it's not practical, nor is it safe to trust, you know, over 5,000 people with one person. And so we're going to have a security director plus additional security guards in the budget, cleaning, which is a huge piece right now, making sure our facilities are clean, and just other areas. So, but the main ones are social emotional support of kids, special education, which we're really putting a lot of time and effort into to support our kids with disabilities, safety and security, cleaning. And the other piece to this budget is we're creating two propositions. We actually have three propositions. One where we're borrowing a couple $1 million to buy some buses. That's what we don't want to do anymore, but we have to do it this year. And then the other two propositions are to try to end the first one after this year, which is create a reserve for bus purchases and a second reserve for capital projects and facilities renovations. Because now, since we've got the aid, we can start doing what every family would like to do, which is save a little money.
Right.
And so that when you buy things, big stuff in the future, you're not having significant debt added onto it. You're paying for it outright, which, I mean, our debt right now is part of our revenue or our expenses are millions of dollars of debt because we've had to borrow so much money for those facilities and those buses because we didn't have any money to pay for them, but you still need them. So now we're able to shift that philosophy to saving money in these reserves, or what they call savings accounts or reserves, so that we don't have to borrow the money for future bus purchases and hopefully for future potential additions to the facilities, and certainly renovations and repairing. The reason I say potential additions is because, as you know, Farmington is adding 50 to 70 homes a year. We are, I guess, ranked 6th in the state in terms of school districts with potential growth, out of 700. So even though we had a significant growth spurt a few years ago, with all the additional homes that are occurring in Farmington especially, and some in Victor, but not anywhere near what it used to be, we're expecting a higher student enrollment over the next 3 to 5 to 7 years. So we have to be prepared, because most of our buildings are bursting at the seams right now. And we do not want to be caught in a situation where we weren't proactive and now we've got millions and millions of dollars of needs, and we're going to have to borrow money on all of that. And the poor taxpayers 5, 7, 10 years from now take the brunt of that. So I know I've been a little wordy, but adding staff to become, and we're not adding staff to become the most, staffed district in the state. We're actually adding staff to get to a place that's closer to districts around us in terms of ratios. Tax rate increase of less than 2%, 1.83% at the highest, hopefully lower, and not adding money, not asking for money, but asking the voters to approve the ability to have these reserves in the future to purchase buses and facility renovations so that we don't have to borrow money on them. long-term. Those are the main focus areas of our budget. Certainly the library vote is also a proposition. And I think it's pretty well known, and that the library vote it's a law basically that the vote has to go on the same budget proposition as the district, but it's not related to the district. But certainly I know there's a lot of talk in the community about the library vote, and as a school district, we don't take a stand on it. But we appreciate everything the community's doing, but it is a separate proposition on the budget vote on the 17th. So we hope for a great turnout, and just the district continues to do amazing things. The community, if you walk through Victor, I always say this, it sounds like a broken record. If you walk through the Victor campus after 6 p.m. any weeknight, it's like a small city. I mean, it's busier than it is during the day. And I mean, last night was incredible. We had the PTSA did an amazing job. They brought in a basketball group called the Harlem Wizards, which is basically an entertainment group. There's songs and music, and we probably had 500 families in the gym.
Oh, that's great.
All to benefit our PTSA. That's amazing about what they do. It's really targeted for elementary kids, and then right across the parking lot, they had probably 800 people, maybe 1,000 at the Canandaigua Victor lacrosse game. All sorts of great stuff going on in the buildings. And so, it's almost like a centerpiece to the community. And so I encourage anybody, as long as you don't mind some traffic, make sure you walk on the sidewalks. But if you want to drive through, just take a look at our campus at night. And it's so much, it's just a relief every time, because as you know, when I started here, it was pretty much COVID, and it was barren.
Nice to see
it
things
was barren,
back,
and I
right?
was like, what?
Yeah.
I've never, I didn't realize what an incredible place it is.
Right.
So anyhow, a little bit long-winded, I apologize.
No,
Any
that's
questions
great.
for me about
I do
anything?
have a question about when the booklet with all the tax information is going to be sent.
All right, so I thought it was already in the homes. It was mailed out early this week. So,
I hadn't gotten mine as of yesterday.
okay, so.
That doesn't mean it's not in my mailbox today.
Yeah, it should be in your mailbox today. And honestly, if you don't receive it by Saturday, email me or email the school, because it should have been.
I'm also asking because I'm a library trustee.
Yes, yeah. So it should be in the library. Yes, and in there is a whole page on the
Yes.
library.
Which answers a lot of questions that people
Well,
are
here's the
asking.
good news. Yeah, it was mailed early this week. And then the other thing for people to do is it's also electronically, it's been available
I
for
did
about
get
a
it
week and a half.
electronically. I'm just
Yeah,
asking for the community in general.
Right.
yes, yeah. So, but if you don't receive it the next day, just let me know. But they did a great job with the booklet. You've seen it then.
I've seen it.
Yeah, so it looks good. Any other questions for me about anything?
Yes, what is the very next big project for Victor School that?
Well, we're finishing one now. You're talking about like a facilities project? So we're in the beginning planning stages for that. So we have a facilities committee that meets on a regular basis. I'd say 4 to 5 times a year. And what they've done a great job recently is do a significant update of what we call a 5-year facilities plan, which starts to then really build in what are our highest priorities, what are high priorities, what are important ones, but not incredibly important, not the highest, and then what are nice to do, but maybe not essential. And then we create that over a 5-year period, and or plan it out 5 years. And what they're doing right now is they're finalizing that 5-year plan. And then we're meeting about that to really dig into the highest priorities. And what we're trying to do then is it's like anything else when you budget in your home. So you take your highest priorities and you take the amount of money you have, and then you take the amount of money you're willing to borrow, if any, and then you put it all together. And that will be with a lot of input from this. There's the process that we'll use to make sure we have input, significant input from the stakeholders. And then that becomes the next capital project. I can tell you the challenge right now is if you walk through any of our buildings, the insides need a lot of work. The outsides, for the most part, look really nice. The insides, we still need to do some significant repairs on. And so that's gonna take a chunk of the money. And then, like I said earlier, we have got to really be looking 3 to 5 years out because, for example, where there's no more room for growth at this point in at least 3 out of the 5 buildings. In other words, if we get another 100 or 200 kids in the primary building or the intermediate building, there's no place to put them. So we're not expecting that happening. We know, but we know, again, looking out the horizon, you have all these homes being built. Sure. There's going to be kids in those homes, some of them. And we've got to be prepared that we have a plan that this is part of the plan is then where would we build off of which buildings to make sure we have enough room and space as we get better ideas and targets of what our enrollment might be. So that's all, again, a long-winded answer, but I think it's a combination of really doing some significant repairs in some of our buildings. I mean, tiles are falling down in a bunch of them. If you look at even the outside of the early childhood school, which is an incredibly historic building, but it could use some renovations. So we've got some work to do there, and then we've got to be proactive around what we're doing in terms of space in the future, which is a great problem to have. I mean, a lot of other districts are worried about closing buildings. We're worried about adding stuff.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you.
Let's see, I don't see Karen there. How about Julie? Are you ready to go?
Sure. So thank you for holding this meeting, I guess. So representing Finger Lakes Visitors Connection, for those of you who are still getting to know me, you probably knew David Lee before me, and David has moved on. So I will report that we here in tourism are seeing an uptick in people inquiring about the area, including media tours. So we're in the process of adding different marketing programs and stretching ourselves to meet the demands of both those who want to vacation here and those media requests to come here and see our area. We're also still partnering with Ostrander's Consulting, which they came to our county through the CARES grant funding, and they will stay in this area for another 6 or 7 months because of that. But they're talking to businesses about other possible grants that specifically for us, we're helping connect hospitality and tourism businesses, but Ostrander's is well-versed in not just the tourism industry. So if you had a small business and you wanted to see what kind of grants were out there, especially connected to COVID relief funding, they could help you with that. And then finally, I just wanted to remind everyone that we're having a literature exchange on June 8th. We're going to host it at Sonnenberg Gardens. I sent out a bunch of postcards, but you know, COVID put a big pause in businesses and contacts. And so if you are interested in doing a literature exchange, please reach out to me and I'll send you a postcard and get you informed and signed up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I haven't heard of the literature exchange in quite a while. So there's another thing that I'm happy to hear is back.
Yeah.
Hi, Bob Haggett. How are you this morning? How about you go next?
Okie dokie. Good to see everybody this morning.
Yeah, good to see you.
Thanks. I'll try to get this chair a little closer. There we go. So I'm here to represent the American Legion, who is playing a part in this Memorial Day parade. And we appreciate Kathy and everyone else's help on this. And currently we've had a memo go out to all of our current and some of our past members. And the response has not been great because a lot of people are getting older. In fact, some aren't getting any older, and that's the problem. That means they're dead.
Tell it like it is.
So, anyway, we're not getting a heck of a good response, so we're still working at it. But we intend to have a nice parade this year. And we're also working at getting people to hand out poppies. This is coming up next week. And we did not get into Walmart this year because they still are concerned with COVID. So we have gotten permission to set up down at Papa Jack's, which is a nice high traffic area.
Yeah.
Because we have 9,000 poppies on hand, had over 2 years ago, and haven't handed any out for 2 years, so it puts us in a tight spot funding wise. So anybody you know, let them know that we'll be down there at Papa Jack's handing out poppies. We'd appreciate any offers, contributions that we can get.
Bob, you need help distributing those, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and they should contact you?
Myself or Troy.
When is it?
Handing out poppies.
Does it, and it starts next weekend as far as distributing them?
Yes.
How long does it go? How long do you distribute the poppies for? A month?
Well, we do it for 3 weekends, on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Would you like to come to this Victor Hiking Trails event on June 4th?
Yes, we would.
There you go.
Okay, I'll have someone contact you directly, Bob.
Great, thanks.
Saturday.
Okay, and to the next subject, which is Victor Tree Board. And we had our Labor Day or Arbor Day celebration here last weekend. Had an amazing amount of people show up to plant the trees. So many thanks to the folks up there at the school, the Key Club, the National Honor Society. We had the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts there, so we had lots of people. Trees got planted rather quickly. That was good. And as Bob said, the village is doing a great job of helping out with getting the trees in the ground, keeping them watered, that type of thing. So anyway, we got a bunch of trees in, and we'll do it again next year on the other side of the street. This is up on Framework Drive up there. So that's what we're up to with the tree board. And I noticed that down at the municipal park, we got some maintenance to do down there now, because some of our fences to keep the deer from damaging the trees have been damaged by mechanical equipment of some sort. Anyway, so that's what's going on there. That's about it for today.
Okay, well, thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Karen, don't go away, Karen. There she is. Well, we'll hear from you now, Karen.
Yep, sorry, had things in my hands. First of all, thank you, Kathy, Bob, Jack, for delivering Easter food. We have an amazing number of requests for delivery lately. But we ended up, we ended up feeding 421 families. including the deliveries. We ended up doing 48 deliveries and 357 people, families came on the day of the distribution. So around 1,800 people, children, seniors, and adults were fed for Easter. I think we might do one drive-through distribution when school is out, July or August. I don't have the details set on that, but our next thing is ramping up we'll be in the Memorial Day Parade, and then we'll be at the Victor Farm Market. Our voucher program has really been popular with the farmers and with our families. And the number one request over the past year has been for fresh fruits and vegetables. So it's really filling a huge need and allowing people to access food that they can't afford, that their doctors are telling them to have. So we'll be back there, and we've allocated a little over $8,000 to that program. We are in the middle of succession planning, so we'll be bringing some new folks onto our board, and the people who have been on our board for quite some time will be part of an advisory team. So non-voting, but we all really, really like each other. So nobody wants to really say goodbye. So that's our genius solution. Dawn Rockefeller, as of June, will have been the board president for 15 years.
Right.
Yeah. So we're hoping to do something for her sometime in the summer, but her mom is currently in hospice. So we're holding off on planning anything until she's, got a free time to do that. But I would like to celebrate her tenure, and Brian Lindsay will then move into the president position for a year while we figure out who has the time, energy, skill set to fit in all these positions. So we are looking for nominations of people you think we should look at. And we're trying to create some new, have new ideas and new energy around the table. Everybody who's currently on the board is fantastic. They are just stellar human beings. We just know that everybody has also exceeded their term limits, so it's time for that. We are also just in the beginning process and a little nervous about doing this, given the current climate. But we need to look at a new building that's more energy efficient, or a new location, I should say. I had a conversation with Mike Kaufman this last week, and there's a new DEC regulation about food waste. And we've been concerned about that for a while. So basically, it's many pages because it's a government document, but basically any venue that has 2 tons of food waste going into landfills has to come up with a composting plan or a food donation plan. So in the food cupboard, we give a lot of our old bread to farmers, and we're doing some other things to try to keep food out of the landfill, but we do have produce that comes in, that's only good for a day or two. And if we can't get it out to hungry people in that time, we have to get rid of it, food safety requires that. But we currently don't have any land to create a compost. So that's one of our reasons for wanting to move out of this location. But also, if you've been in our space, we lose a lot of heat to our high warehouse ceilings. So heat and cooling is, we're just wasting some money here. So that's why we're beginning to look around. We signed a 3-year lease and we have about 18 months left in this building. And we can certainly extend that, but I think that's it in a nutshell. We did, the beginning of spring break, we went up to what used to be called the Finger Lakes Hotel and is now Finger Lakes Apartments and Event Center, which is a huge stretch of the imagination if you've ever been up there.
It's the place like exit 44 up on the hill.
We went up with the Victor Library and with Sarah Chilson and gave out food and books and some clothing to families up there at the beginning of spring break so that nobody would go hungry during spring break. Hi, Karen. I'll be right with you, okay? Do you want to take a look around? So that was really fun. And I would like to do more of that mobile pantry model this summer, and the library will do it again with us too, probably twice in July and twice in August. We'll go up and just check in on everybody. The housing crisis in Ontario County is just stunning. So we are not seeing people move out of those, short-term housing options into permanent housing. We're seeing people that we've seen for a year plus, and they used to stay a few months in short-term housing. The Budget Inn, the Royal Inn really doesn't have anybody, but there's several what should be short-term housing situations. So I cannot even imagine trying to keep my kids occupied and up and out the door and on the bus on time from a hotel room, and spring break had to have been the world's longest. I mean, I just can't even imagine. I have PTSD thinking about it. So, I joined a local, an Ontario County group that United Way is working with to have those conversations. What's affordable? What can we do about it? How to leverage some of the power of a group. And that's about it. We're just keeping on.
Right. Thanks, Karen. Do I see Don Embermeyer? I can't, is he? I don't have my glasses for distance.
Yeah.
Hi, Don.
Don from, FLCC Victor Campus Center.
Yep.
Just a quick update. May 16th, 4:30 p.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. We have our Smart Systems Technologies presentation. It's called Co-op Ventures, and this is our 11th one already. We do it every year. The students that are graduating, I believe we have 7 this year, do a quick presentation on their work experience. The students in this program all have to do required co-op, and that most of them work in the high-tech field and companies around this area. So it's a great opportunity for people to find out more about the program. It is open to anybody that'd like to come, so we welcome people to come visit. The last day of the spring semester is May 17th, so that's just coming up in a couple weeks here. Our graduation follows soon after. That's May 20th and 21st. As you know, we usually have one big ceremony at CMAC. The last couple of years, with COVID, it's a little easier to break that into smaller ceremonies. So we have Friday, May 20th, there's a 12 o'clock ceremony and a 2 o'clock. And on Saturday, May 21st, there's a 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 2 o'clock ceremony. And each of the ceremonies will be about 35 to 45 minutes long. So that works out a little better for everybody. Continuing here, we have STEAM Camp coming up in July. That's basically STEM Camp with the extra A. The A is for art, and in Victor, it's for architecture. Each of the 3 campus centers for FLCC is holding a STEAM Camp. Victor's is July 11th through 15th. Geneva is July 18th through 22nd. And the Newark campus is July 25th through the 29th. There's a morning session and an afternoon session, so families can select which is more convenient for them. Morning goes from 8:30 to 11:30. Afternoon session is 1 to 4 for each of the 3 centers. And this is for students going into 7th, 8th, and 9th grades. To find out more, you can go to flcc.edu/STEAM, and there's more information there, and you can actually register for a camp. And finally, we're enrolling right now for summer and fall semesters. So anybody interested can either stop in at one of the centers or the main campus, or go to our website, and there's information on how to enroll. And that's it.
Great, thanks, Don.
Thank
Very
you.
quickly, I'll just fill you in. I gave you a memo on the Memorial Day Parade, working with a small committee on that for the James Cook Post 931 American Legion, coordinating that. We've done some outreach, got some great response as far as people participating. I've been in touch with Brian Siesto to see if the senior class wants to do a float or two, so I'm working with him. Karen said she's going to have the food covered, so if anyone's interested, the more the merrier. Put a float together, let's have some community spirit and cheer our veterans on. The Business Awards Luncheon is back. We are honoring Bob Kelly as one of the award recipients this year. That's next week, May 12th. And in the final stages of wrapping those details up. This events list is pretty comprehensive. The QR code at the top takes you right to the community calendar that Susie maintains. So utilize that, but this is really a good list of everything that's going on. You're invited to spread the word. We encourage you to do that. And I wanted to keep it short. So Jack didn't leave me any words to say today. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Bob Kelly, could you check the food cupboard bin on your way out of the building?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Kathy.